if your tooth hurts, you don't, you know, with you don't live through that with courage and oh, I'm a man, I will suffer the pain and I will beat this tooth with my willpower. No, that shit doesn't help. So basically you go to doctor and then doctor treats you the same way I go to some people who can listen to me.
Hi everyone. Today I'm talking to Julius Tilvikas, who's a counselor, life coach, and the product manager of GoTherapy.lt, a platform that connects mental health professionals with their clients. During our conversation, we talked about psychotherapy, psychodiagnostics, trauma, wisdom, and Julius' journey into the world of technology and mental health. If you like conversations like this, please subscribe, like, and share. The Happy Developer Podcast is a nonprofit initiative, so your support is highly appreciated. Enjoy. Okay, Julius. So nice to see you here. How are you?
Uh, I'm good. Okay. Thank you, Povilas, for inviting me into your show.
Amazing, amazing. Glad to see you here. So we have some common ground here. We are both psychologists, right?
Yes, exactly.
So on this podcast, it will be the first conversation between two psychologists. Although I had a psychiatrist once,
Hmm.
but this time it feels like home in a way.
Okay, that's nice that we share some common ground and we share some common understanding of things, how human, I don't know, psyche works.
Okay. So before we get into any topic, I guess it would be great just to get to know you a bit, maybe for the audience as well. So maybe
Hmm.
you can just introduce yourself briefly and then we will start, okay?
Okay. So I am Julius Tilvikas. As you already know, I am a psychologist working more than 10 years in the field, and basically what I do, I work at my own private practice, and well, that's that's more or less about me. My specialty, if you can say so, as a psychologist, I work with childhood trauma. So,
Mm,
but basically, I came from totally different background, and well, this this job that I do now uh, was not lifelong
mm-hmm.
that I had, and I came from absolutely different background.
Before our conversation, when we met, you mentioned, and it was new to me, you mentioned that you, at your core, your first initial background or education, maybe to be precise, is electromechanical engineering, right?
Yes, exactly.
So who could ever thought that an electromechanical engineer will work with childhood trauma, right?
I would never, I don't know, I would laugh during those times that somebody could say, "Hey, Julius, I can foresee your future and you will work as psychologist and you will work with people and with traumatic experience. You will see people cry and tell you different things." And said, "Oh my God, that's not me at all." At that time, I loved computers. I loved technical things. Well, I still do now, but well, I did not understood people as much as I understand them now.
Mhm. I tend to say sometimes that engineers and psychologists have one thing in common. And
Hmm.
the most common thing is that both work with systems.
Oh yeah.
Just one system is a technical one, and the other is like a bio something, biopsychological one. But I guess principles are can be similar. What do you think?
Mm, I really can think so because in psychology, if you don't use logic, if you don't use reason, if you don't systematize in your thinking how things work with people, I think it's pretty hard then to understand how things works. So I think that's the well, probably this way of thinking, it really helped me to understand well, how human behave and why they feel one or the other
Mm-hmm.
thing, and why do they think thoughts like this and so on.
Mm, definitely, definitely. I'm sure that we will get into this in the later part of our conversation, but you already gave a bit of information on your philosophy when you mentioned that you have to use logic and you have to use rational thinking, systemize information, because some of our colleagues, maybe from a more intuitive side of therapy, would say totally different
Um,
things. So I'm sure we will get into this.
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I think we will get that.
Okay, okay. So before we get into the psychotherapy, different schools of psychotherapy, I would love to hear how you reach this point of becoming a therapist. I know that you worked, broadly speaking, in tech for a while as a salesperson, as a product manager. You also have your own project, GoTherapy, that basically also connects people with psychologists. So you're still on the technical side of things, but still there was a time when you were not into counseling. So maybe you
Mm.
would like to share your story, how it started and how you
Okay,
end up
okay,
here.
okay. Just a small remark. Go therapy is not my I do not own the thing. It's just that I'm the product manager of this whole
Got it.
project, or a project manager. Yeah, but it's really deep into my heart. So I feel like I am feeling as it is my child. Yeah. So basically, like many things in our lives that that we experience, that we I don't know, many not many things, but many changes in our lives that it came unexpectedly. Because I at that time, when I had my own business for a
Mhm.
while, and well, during 2008 crisis, this business went really down.
What was the business? What did
Uh,
you do?
uh, I co-owned a company that sold different kind of optical equipment. Usually, more like telescopes, microscopes, binoculars, some dermatoscopes, to medical devices for
Wow.
skin examination. And well, during that time, it was like I lost it all at once. At like 1 month, we are doing, like, I don't know, huge sales. uh, the sales were record high,
Hmm.
and the other month we are letting go our colleagues, and we are downsizing, like changing the office to the smaller one. We are paying huge fines for discontinuation of contracts. And well, at that time, I saw no future in this, let's say, in this company, or in this field, because I felt at that moment that I really failed my colleagues, failed my partners. And during the same time, I broke up with my girlfriend, and I moved out from the place that we lived together. So it was like the world crumbled down.
Mm.
Like,
In
you
a
are go
second.
yeah, one day you are walking out of the door and you see, street cars and everything, and the other day you open the door and you are like in a Mars, where there's no oxygen, and different temperature. So that was how I felt. And already during that time, when I owned this telescope business, uh, I've developed interest in psychology, because well, I wanted to achieve things. I wanted to understand why do I feel one or the other way, and well, I was it was more like popular psychology. It
Mm,
started from popular psychology. Then I moved to my own psychotherapy, and when this crash came, I just had so much time, like I had all the time in the world. So I thought, what will I do with this time, and what do I want
mm-hmm,
from myself, and what do I want to do with myself? So I decided that I want to study psychology, and uh, from the start, there was like uh, I didn't have a dream like, oh,
mm,
okay, Julius, now you are starting psychology, and now you will be psychotherapist or psychologist, and you will work with people. It was more like, okay, I am really interested into this thing, and later on the road, I understood, okay, I wanna go that way. I
mm,
wanna understand people, and I wanna try to help them as I can help myself.
mm-hmm.
So, and I've already had some psychotherapy, and it really helped me to understand how things works with me. So, and
Can
there
we
was,
stop here a bit, Julius, if
yeah,
it's okay
sure.
for you? I'm very interested in that moment because what you're describing seems like a doomsday, at least how it might have felt at the
Hmm.
moment. And you're a technical person, technical guy, and then you decided to seek therapy. Was it like your first time in therapy at that
No, it
moment?
wasn't. It wasn't. I've
Okay.
already been few times in therapy. It was not. It was not not as long therapy as I went through later on. But before I had like, I don't know, half of the year, because I at some point of my life I've suffered from depression, and I needed help, and during some different times I just went to psychotherapist for few sessions just to ventilate and to understand what's happening. So I knew that psychologist can help me,
Mm,
and I saw a value there. But yeah, at that moment when this shift came, I don't know, somehow I just realized, you know.
mm-hmm. When I'm hearing you, it seems like the history is repeating at least a bit because there are many, let's say, startup owners right now in the tech world who are also letting people laying off, and have to
Uh-huh.
make difficult decisions, losing investment rounds, and there are still people who think that if they are seeking therapy, it shows that they are weak. And these type of periods somehow uh, is even a stronger reason for them not for some people not to seek therapy because it like tests their character. So if they are not seeking therapy, they might think that they are even stronger, they are
Mm.
more resilient, more adaptive, and still you were at that time, it seems, more rational, and you thought, okay, I need help, and you had that courage to seek. You already had some experience. So if just to give maybe some motivation for our business owners
Hmm.
to do that as well, how therapy helped at that difficult moment if you had to psychoanalyze yourself.
Well, few things. First one, don't let's remember that I came from an engineering background, and I at that time I quite well understood, if you want to fix thing, you have to fix it. And I knew already that therapy or counseling, or just one or two visits to mm, well, just with the just it's not, let's just demystify psychology or psychotherapy.
Great.
It's just two people talking, about one of those people's problem.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what that is, you just go to to person that has great listening skills, and it can help you to reflect, and it can help you to understand yourself, and you just talk about what is happening with your life. That is it. No magic ones, no like psychological technologies or something. There's no trickery there. So being an engineer, I understood that I have to fix things. It's the same like, oh, if your tooth hurts, you don't you know with you don't live through that with courage, and oh, I'm a man, I will suffer the pain, and I will beat this tooth with my willpower. No, that shit doesn't help. So basically you go to doctor, and then doctor treats you the same way I go to some people who can listen to me. And as I often say, that psychologist or psychotherapist is your best friend for money. And
Mm-hmm.
this best friend just takes your money and gives you all the friendship that you can, you know you nowhere in the world you can find, because they don't bring into the therapy their own agenda. You don't think how you will talk to them later on at the beer, how difficult this moment was to you, or they don't remind you during some, I don't know, party, some stupid thing that you did, and they will not be around you. So you can
Mm-hmm.
go and talk about anything you want to. And I
Mm-hmm.
did that. I understood that, okay, if something weird is going on in my head, I can go and talk to people.
Mm-hmm. Actually, what you're describing is interesting because I have people who find it really difficult to go to a doctor, even to um, to fix their teeth, because even there, some men find it, let's say, I don't know, uncomfortable to seek help, you know. So it seems that even in those areas, it can be challenging. So that's like one belief I think can be detrimental. And the other thing that you mentioned is um, having a friend. And I guess there's also a belief that, okay, so I have friends, so why do I need someone and pay money for that? You know, it seems for some
Mhm.
people it can sound strange, you know,
Yeah.
but what you described is logical because, you know, this is like a, okay, it may be a professional friend who has the skill to listen, a skill to give feedback, to reflect on your bullshit,
Yeah.
that sometimes our friends are unable to do.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
guess that's the price that we are paying now. If, let's say, our friends maybe would also be more open to us, more maybe unconditional when it comes to listening, when it comes to spending time, I guess we might have the same. But I guess maybe Carl Rogers, the great humanistic psychologist, was wrong. It's probably impossible to be so Mother Teresa like in those conversations.
And that's not possible in relationships, especially in friendship. Anything can happen, and the better friends are, the deeper this interconnection is. Not just mental, but also you do things together. You maybe own things together. You discuss ideas together. Maybe you even, like, I don't know, have some business together. And then if a topic arises about some, I don't know, negativity or problems that you just think in your head, and you cannot say it loud, because uh, how how will that ripple through the whole friendship. It's really uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So yeah, so this way it doesn't work. And you mentioned dentists. So I was really scared when I was a kid of this uh, old Soviet Russian, you know drilling machines, and I really had really bad experience. And I I did a huge effort to go later on to get help for my teeth health. Yeah,
Mm.
sometimes it's just, some kind of trauma sitting
Mm.
within us, and then not letting things happen.
Going back to that period that you mentioned, so there was a traumatic event. Let's not be afraid of that wording. Now, when you were going through therapy, did it reach like a traumatic stress level? How would you reflect on that period when everything was crumbling down?
During that period, I there were days that I don't even remember how I
Yeah.
spent them. And I know that I didn't do much. I just,
Mm.
sat, read, um, mm, maybe browsed the internet a
What
little
did you
bit.
read? What did you read at the time?
Um, different kind of books. I just, like I had a lot of time, so I sometimes I just went to a bookstore, and at that time I didn't have a lot of money, so I
Mm.
just like browsed through the like cheapest books that are on sale, and just picked something. Okay, I will just try this.
But sounds like
uh,
a good strategy. At least do something, maybe read literature. So sounds like you already were wise around these questions.
you know I wanted to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I just well, it wasn't like I didn't do anything with my past career, or I didn't try to find some ways to earn money,
Mm.
but that was not productive at all.
Mm.
And in such a huge stress, I couldn't really operate like I used to. So really, I felt crumbling. Yeah, really, like like I really felt bad. And uh, one thing that helped me at that time, I ran a lot, and
Mm.
um, and I was just okay, it's time for, like, I have my routine. I just have to run. And also, this probably helped me a lot, like physical exercise, that like you do something with your body. And there was maybe those brain chemicals that produced during that run, those endorphins and other things. So maybe they helped me to elevate that mood a little bit, and then just to look at, to find some kind of perspective.
Mm.
So and also you know visits to my psychotherapy. So also I had like, okay, wanna I don't know what I wanna do. I feel like I've lost everything, and everybody hates me, and world is full of shit, and this will never end. Yeah, but somehow I understood that, okay, there is a way. There always a
Mm.
way.
So you had hope still.
Yeah, I had hope.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I really, I don't know, since maybe this is like specially related with me, but I really have a hope deeply and ingrained in me.
Mm.
Like I don't know, I have this hope from, I don't know, from my childhood.
Mm. Hope is an interesting emotion because it's like leap of faith, believing in something without evidence. And for very technical people, or very rational people, sometimes it can be tricky to realize that, okay, so things will work out. But then you ask yourself, so what is the evidence? I don't have anything. I don't have money. I don't have a partner. Um, but still, there is that way. So interesting that you had this and you seems like it helped.
It's not like just crazy belief that, oh yeah, I will sit and things will get better. No, they won't. But it's like, okay, let's see what happened already in my life, and what can I do, and take it. Okay, if not your life, then look at the lives of the other people. Other people also, they lose their jobs, they maybe have some low period, and then they find a job, and they maybe they build some skill upon that. And also I had some scientific evidence that well, people adapt to the change. So
Yeah.
basically that was maybe part of my
So
hope.
speaking of that scientific evidence, actually, what you're describing reminds me of several interesting theories that I tend to refer to in my practice, maybe in my head, sometimes with my clients. And one model is uh, known by the name post-traumatic growth. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
you heard of it.
Yeah.
It was created by Tedeschi and Calhoun, and
Hmm.
basically the model describes that any traumatic event, regardless if it can be a difficult one like sexual abuse, maybe environmental crisis, or even like maybe slighter things like losing a job, maybe losing a partner, losing a dog or a cat, whatever. If these things are, they use the word ruminate, but I would use the word reflected upon properly, and wisdom occurs.
Hmm.
And it seems that in your situation, that wisdom was based on your previous experience of going through these things already in the past. And it's great that your therapist referred to that, because sometimes we think that only trauma lies in the past. But the past holds many other things, including very important experiences where we overcome things. And
Hmm.
when you describe these, I realize that so that's the source of hope, looking at the past and realizing that you're still here.
Like I said, if you do nothing with your hope, so that's not a hope, just false belief.
Mm,
But if you have some kind of hope, and you are moving toward like some kind of direction, you will not fulfill all your dreams that are at the end of this road, but you will go somewhere.
hmm,
Like, if you exercise, you don't get results just straight away. You go to the gym, or you run, or you cycle, or you swim, and month goes, and you are still, I don't know, still fat, still uncomfortable in your body, still you still ache after stronger workout. And what brings you back is hope, is belief that you will do this, and things will get better.
mm,
And they 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 do get better.
hmm. Got it. So going back to that period, so I think it would be also interesting to reflect not only on that point when you felt that you have to change your life, but also to reflect on that, to talk about your previous life. So maybe you're a wise person already. It seems that you maybe normalized what you the experiences you had, but when you look at your LinkedIn profile, there is a lot of interesting entries, And when I look at that, before that business of binoculars, you were a project manager in various tech companies, you work with sales. It seems that you're like a treasure of wisdom. So maybe you could just talk on that technical aspect of yours. I understand that it's like a old stuff for you maybe,
Mhm.
but still it would be interesting to learn what you took from that period when you're working as a project manager, sales manager, maybe with technical things. How would you reflect on that?
From the, I don't know, my young years, I was very interested in computers.
Mm,
And I always wanted to have one, and it started from very simple computers, like ZX Spectrum 80,
mm,
and like you have to connect this small box to your TV set, and you have to, if you want to load the game, so you have to put cassette player and
yeah, I
play the
remember
game.
those.
And yeah, so basically weird technology, but yeah, it was still something. And later on, I grew, always wanting to do something with computers.
Mm,
And but I was a lazy kid. I
mm,
I At school I didn't do so well. And the things that I liked was physics and chemistry and
Mm.
things like that. Wait, astronomy was my thing. And well, after school, I didn't know what to do with my life, so I went to university, applied for all the all the possible entries, and then finished in I was in a shipbuilding course, and that course was filled with other guys like me who just who just wanted to go to university but
Oh
didn't
God.
didn't have the guts to study. So and uh, I almost dropped out, and I just decided, okay, I will not do that, but I have to do something. And well, my mother said, you will not go to work definitely because you have to have an education. So you will get to the other school. So I went to engineering school to the
Mm.
college. Yeah. So and but my interest in computers is still were there, and I went. Okay, during the college I understood that learning is okay, and if I just listen I can understand things,
Mm.
and I then don't have to do much there, and if I don't understand I just can go to some kind of teacher and get to understand, like
Mm.
it was with mathematics. And and later on, I started in bank as data entry guy, and I then I had my own computer. I can type things, I can do things with it. But my bank job stopped because the bank went bankrupt during that time, and that was interesting time because there was like domino, one bank collapsed, then the other in Lithuania.
Mm.
So and
So what was the year?
It was 1994,
Wow.
1996. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So and then I just looked for positions, and I went to the first position that was available with computers, and I was sales, because you can
Mm.
always fill in sales position. I didn't really had an engineering level, and I've tried to do some programming, like development, but it was just too tough for me. And I've tried to come back into this field, but it was always, not
What technologies did you try to learn or use? What type of languages?
basic.
Mm.
Then Pascal, then uh, I don't really remember. DB is DB4, I think. It's
Mm.
like database programming.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it was. I tried. Okay, that's not. Things are not going so fast, and I don't have knowledge for that. And
Mm.
I if I am in sales, I can always play with newest technology, because if something comes, you have to install computers, and if you sell bigger and this faster computers and with more like optical technologies, like optical magnetical
Yeah.
discs at that time. So that was a driving force for me, and I was pretty good at it. I
Mm.
I was amazed by technology, and I could translate that amazement to the clients, and look, we have this technology, so yeah, it's great for you.
I mean, it was an exciting time, I can imagine,
Mhm.
especially maybe in Lithuania before 2000s. It was like, still not everyone had the privilege to own a computer. So,
Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, and this was the era of still of dial-up internet, no optical lines, no Wi-Fi. Well, Wi-Fi was something like, oh my goodness. Yeah, you had to have a wire everywhere.
yeah.
So and yeah, so this network thing came also, because connecting two computers into one thing was also magic to me. So I went a little bit to to network sales, and
Mm.
later on I just moved with this technology, what interested me, and I ended up in this project manager position where I sold uh, projects to telecommunication providers
Mm.
already. So it's like huge n- network switches and routers and
Was it
optical
at
thing.
Santa Monica
Yeah,
Networks, maybe?
yeah, yeah.
Mm. Mm.
And that was also interesting because computers started to be like, okay, just like nicer box or bigger screen, but
Mm.
to build something big, like I don't know, huge data network, and to be part of it, or to participate in how it is being engineered, and to understand this thing. So that was amazing for me too. So I was
Mhm.
always led by some kind of amazement, and yeah,
Can
probably.
we stop here a bit? Just a
Huh?
small tangent, if you allow me, Julius. I'm
Okay.
very interested in your sales experience because, you know, I worked in IT recruitment for a while, so it's also sales ish. You have to sell a company to a candidate. Also, you have to sell the candidate to the company, so that's like the thing. And
Mhm.
also now, when I think about it, when working in as a counselor, you also have to sell ideas to clients when we have to educate them about maybe certain interventions that might be helpful to them, maybe using a journal or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's also like sales, you know. So if you had just to jazz a bit about like about the principles or maybe things that make a good idea selling, maybe from a therapeutic perspective or sales perspective in general. What do you think?
So I think that people buy things
Hmm.
that solve their problems. So we don't buy things that do not solve our problems.
What about
So
Netflix?
uh, well, Netflix solves a lot of problems. If you have
It can
boredom
create
or
problems as well.
anxiety,
Okay,
yeah,
fair enough.
yeah, that's the different part of the story. The same as Louis Vuitton bag. It
Mm,
solves a problem, huge problem, which some person has, like wanting things, being
mhm.
like
Okay.
fashionate, and being coolest with the guys or with the girls. So that all also solves huge problem. Also, maybe it creates a huge other problem, that it
Mm.
burns the hole in your wallet too, but who cares then? There's always a compromise.
But then
So,
it means that you have to be aware and realize that it is a problem. So, how to help a person realize that he or she has a problem then?
well, you don't point to that problem. I remember myself when I started studying psychology, understanding people and seeing their problems. I was keen to show them their problems. Oh, look, you're doing this. It's because your mother and your father and the whole family dynamic, and um, and later on, when you start working with people, you understand that they don't need that. They don't
Mm.
buy this story from you because they want to believe they had like a good family, or that the technique that you are, like, let's say, selling them, or appointing them to is something valuable to them. Well, I think people have to understand that themselves, and then you solve the thing. So
Mm.
basically, as I see, uh, uh, like in mental health, uh, we should help people to understand what the problem is, and if they see, if that is a problem, maybe they can try to find an answer how to solve that problem.
Hmm.
But it's also, not problems ought to solve.
What you're describing is interesting because when you think about maybe a mental health field outside Lithuania, that I mean, in our country, it's very humanistic. It's
Mm,
very a-diagnostic when you think about it. But let's say outside, maybe in the UK, maybe in the United States,
mm,
a clinical psychologist, I mean, usually the person has a doctorate, so the person is a doctor. The person can assign diagnosis, and the person, of course, can assign treatment, sometimes even medication, and one of the things that a diagnostician, a clinical psychologist has to be able to do is to identify the problem, that is, see the symptoms,
mhm,
then educate the client about the symptoms, provide maybe the label, if it's depressive disorder, anxiety disorder, tr- PTSD or whatever. And then when you educate the person about the symptoms, then do the treatment thing. So, but I understand what you're also saying is because sometimes it can put people into a victim mode and just even create more suffering. And I guess there is some value to the humanistic perspective where it says that okay, so you have a problem, how it can be a solution as well. And it puts you in a totally different mindset when you think about your disorders as superpowers, so to speak,
mhm,
that had a reason and have a reason, and maybe they help you realize that something is not going wrong, going right. It
mhm,
gives you awareness. It points to certain bad places in your life that you have to solve. So from my experience, it seems that it can indeed it can be more empowering. But then again, I realize what my job is, and sometimes we do have to solve those problems. So how do you solve this dilemma of reconciling good diagnostics with maybe a more humanistic attitude towards people?
mm. You know, hmm, well, diagnostics always seem to me like, you know, just checking for symptoms and putting them into some pattern,
Mm,
and then associating this pattern with an entry in DSM.
mm,
So that's how it works for me. And I understand that if person goes and wash his or her hands uh, 40 times a day for 5 minutes, mm, okay, that is the problem.
mm-hmm,
And if I would tell that person, look, uh, you have a problem, and your problem is called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, and you have to do things like this and this and this, and then
mm-hmm,
then this is the treatment. Um, I can do that, but only if this person uh, is already mature enough to understand that it is a disorder. I will just talk from my own perspective,
yeah.
because I have my own mindset and I have my own psychological tool set. So I really don't think that we should point like we should relate people to the diagnosis. But I know, and from my practice, that sometimes when you let's say person has um, uh, let's say borderline disorder, or depression, and if you say, okay, this might be depression, it somehow like relieves that person from
Mm,
the burden that it's carrying.
okay.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
disease, but that person should already understand that he or her was already looking for naming, of what is happening with me.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we already are in some place where we understand that, okay, naming your diagnosis is a good thing. It will help you, not not throw you back where you started.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, when I'm hearing you talking, indeed, I also agree that there are certain people that hearing a diagnosis can be like a relief, at least in the short term.
Hmm.
And it provides at least an understanding that, as you said, or maybe you refer to that, okay, it's not about me, it's about the disease. And it can be cathartic, it can be helpful.
Hmm.
Now, but in the short term, I guess in the long term, still, okay, so what's now? So, okay, there is a disorder, there is a name for that, there is a disease. Now, what we do about it? So, usually the instinct then is, especially in the Western world, is okay, so treat as fast as possible because it is a disease and diseases have to be treated. And I
Hmm.
feel that that can be a pitfall because in my opinion, mental health problems, they are not diseases. They are, most of them, they are disorders. And disorder means out of order. That is,
Yeah.
it can be in order. Now it's a bit messy, but still you are the same person. You're just operating on a bit of a different level. It's like, it's one thing writing a line of code when you're on coffee and you are fresh and you're motivated, and a totally different thing is when you're doing at night before a deadline. So yes, you're writing code, but still it's a
Yeah.
totally different mindset.
Yeah,
So I
it's a
told
shit code.
it's, you know I
Yeah, I
cannot
know
judge.
because I always,
Sometimes you have to write shit code as well, so
mhm. Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, sometimes we do that that we shouldn't do, we do this like many hours of unproductive work that could be done like in 1 hour instead of
mm,
5. Yeah, but I also want to point one thing about when we talking about this field of diagnostic things and so on. So I am working with quite self-aware patients.
mm-hmm,
My let's say my regular patient, it understands that it has problems, it has means to pay, not it, but they have means to pay for that, and they have time for therapy. They are reaching themselves for my help. Probably the very different perspective would be from those psychologists or psychotherapists who are working in wards or in mental health clinics. Not like
mm-hmm,
not private
yeah.
clinics, but where you have to see really really disturbed people.
And
And
if you allow me, I would put
mhm,
also an additional category. So one spectrum is, let's say, people when they are forced to receive help. Let's say if they are introduced to a mental ward. The
mhm,
other spectrum is those motivated people that come to you. In my practice, there's also a group in the middle. That is, these are people whose they come themselves, but their sessions are funded by the employer. And
okay,
it also is a bit of a different level of motivation where, on the one hand, they wouldn't pay themselves, let's say,
yeah,
but still they are curious. They would like to help themselves because maybe their colleagues also are coming to therapy. And indeed, it's motivating to them because they think that, okay, so if, let's say, John goes to therapy and he's brighter and seems achieving one's goals, maybe I should do it as well. But still, it's a bit external, not too internal.
yeah, but still, I would probably put those people more to the end of spectrum um, of the clients that I am working with,
Okay.
not to the psychiatrist or ward psychiatric ward side of the
Hmm.
spectrum, because still they are quite self-sufficient people. They have work,
Yeah.
they earn money, they earn company money, and company spends you know mm, this is that usually are not really some I don't know, some kind of shady business running
Yeah.
in a garage. Yeah, so the and to get into such position, people have to have some kind of, I don't know, skills and skill set.
Mm,
They have to have skill set. You have to at least have some kind of self awareness that okay, I want to try. It doesn't cost me anything, but I want to try.
yes. Essentially, what you're referring to, and going back to that sales thing, what comes to my mind is that there are at least two groups of people. There are people who maybe do not realize that they have a problem. And then there are people who are already realizing that they have maybe too much problems. And then they are already looking for a solution. And I guess when it comes to selling ideas, maybe whether it's like a label or maybe an intervention, I starting to feel from what you're describing is that maybe for some people who are maybe in denial, according to Freud, maybe they are not aware of their anxieties and what is going on in their heads. And I feel that when there is that lack of coherence in life, lack of sense making, I feel that those educative practices like providing maybe a theory what's going on, not only a label, providing maybe a tool set what they can do with their lives, it can be empowering. Now, moving forward, usually there comes a place when the person becomes what you're describing, more self-sufficient, more self-aware, more stronger, more resilient. And then it seems it works in that you shouldn't maybe put too much emphasis on educating and maybe listen more and
Mhm.
reflect more and provide the space to come up for solutions for the person, him or herself, because it's the person already is on that level. The person doesn't need
Mhm.
theory. The person is already a theoretician oneself. So I guess that would be a good compromise maybe for people as well. Maybe if let's say you are a beginner, I think that a diagnosis, a label, a theory put by the counselor might be very helpful. But if you're already very self aware, you maybe reflect a lot, you write out things, you talk openly to friends, you perceive feedback.
Mhm.
Probably, even if you didn't have therapy, you're already therapeutically minded or
Yeah,
psychologically minded. And
makes sense.
it seems that that's your audience. And educating themselves can be like a waste of time, I guess. So,
Probably yes.
okay. So my favorite hour already came. And
Mhm.
if it's okay for you, I would like to move to our second part of conversation and
All right.
maybe talk about therapy or different therapies as well. So before we get into this, maybe you can remind people about your education because to me it is unique and puts you in a special place where you, in my opinion, can talk about different therapies. So what is like your psychological education, if you can
Well,
remind us?
my basic, let's say, education is well, psychology, general psychology, and during that time, I've already understood that I want to understand how the hell therapy works.
Hmm.
What's the magic? And you know, I was I was like trying to suit me for one or the other um psychological paradigms, but it didn't fit me. Like I was not ready really, and I thought, okay, oh, here is a course. Here is a course. It's another master's degree in psychological therapies, and so it's
Was it in the UK, right?
yeah, and it was like little pieces like of everything. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't like if, when you are ordering you don't know what you want to order, so okay, that's it's our set, basically you want to try
A
this
lot
and
of
try this.
appetizers of this
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that.
So and I just okay, I will go there and I will I don't know, maybe I will get, then understand things better, and yeah, it gives me freedom. Yeah, like I can really work like more like psychotherapist. So and that was more like theoretical thing
Mm-hmm.
than the practical thing. That was a little bit of disappointment for me, but
Got it.
yeah, still that's okay. And later on, I worked, and then I decided that I wanna. At some point, I understood that I have quite a lot of understanding how therapy works from this analytic way, analytical way, or psychodynamic way. But really, I was not really grasping like, okay, how CBT works. So I was like,
CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
and I was like, okay, that's maybe the magic bullet. It's like it solves things easily, simply. The techniques are very like they have quite well engineered this thing. And I went to I've tried to study cognitive behavioral therapy, but
Here in
that
Lithuania, right?
yeah, here in Lithuania, and that was not my thing.
Mm.
So I decided that okay, I've tried for a year and a half, and I understand no, I will not work that way. Mm. At least not the way that here in Lithuania studies are being like held, or those methods that they were teaching me. So I just quit, and
Okay.
that's it. So yeah, that's what that was my learning curve.
So, got it. So maybe to provide maybe some background, maybe you could remind us what were like those theoretical therapies that you learned at your master's degree, and then we might go to each and describe their
Okay,
similarities
so
and different.
so basically, of course, cognitive behavioral therapy,
Okay.
written and cognitive behavioral
Okay. So
therapy, the
CBT.
same, yeah, CBT,
What else?
yeah. Also, analytic theory. So both Freudian and Jungian. Then there was this Gestalt therapy, of course. Then what else was there? Humanistic existential, and there was also, some uh, mm, exotic things like IFS, just just a referral
IFS,
to
like what's that
internal
like?
family
Ah,
systems
got it. That's
therapy. Yeah.
popular in the States as well.
In
Yeah.
states, yeah, in states they have quite a lot of work
Hmm.
doing also transactional analysis, and it basically covered a lot, but and that was not really you know that deep
Yeah,
understanding
sure.
how the
But
things work.
it still gave you, I guess, a perspective on the plethora of different therapies.
Mhm.
And I think that I'm also aware of those different therapies. I attended courses, short courses, probably in each. So I think we can do a very interesting discussion of those therapies that people would maybe find it easier to choose, because when you have so many different options, I mean, it can be perplexing, why we need
Yeah.
like 20 names for the same thing, but some people will say it's not same thing, but it's just maybe not an ideological discussion. So what do you think, Julius, if I provide like a case study, a case, very short case study?
Uh-huh.
It's I will be open to you. It's
Mhm.
more or less about me. So I will use the time
Okay.
to present myself as a case study. And what I think it would be interesting maybe to see how different theories, those different modalities would approach that case.
Mhm.
And from the maybe from the practical perspective, maybe what questions could be asked, how maybe the difficulties could be solved, what maybe methods could be used, and maybe even there will be opportunity maybe to do a brief demonstration in some of each if you find it comfortable. So I will be your guinea pig, okay?
Mm.
So let's maybe start with a case study, and then i- upon yourself, you can choose maybe which modality you would like to start, okay?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
the case study sounds like this. So I'm a perfectionist, who wants to succeed at everything what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to control everything, including my household and work. Most of the time, I'm very vision and goal oriented, so I am able to achieve what I want to achieve. However, occasionally, various psychosomatic issues take over. I burn out and lose hope. We talked about hope. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be as successful as I am and maybe even more successful in the future. But I also want to lead a more balanced life when it comes to family or relationships. How could you help me?
Okay.
So I think that we have a good setting, and then we can start with different modalities and see maybe how they would approach this.
Hmm.
So where should we start? What do you think?
I think always with any therapeutic approach, there's this first question. So, what bothers you? What is your problem that you are willing to solve?
So you already I described, let's say, the
Mm-hmm.
problem. What we
Yeah,
do next?
yeah, but well, you described like many things about yourself, but still, there is a problem. Yeah. If you come to cognitive behavioral therapist, it would ask, okay, so what are you thinking when you feel
Okay, so
this
let's
and that?
say
Yeah.
let's say I come to you as a CBT professional.
Hmm.
I describe that my problem, let's say, in my understanding, is
Hmm.
perfectionism, burnout, psychosomatic issues. And then you ask, okay, so what goes through your head, right? Then I
Hmm.
start to say that, okay, so thoughts of perfectionism maybe come out that I have to be very good. I have to do everything as perfect as possible.
Hmm.
There can be no place for mistakes. And I have to be successful. I have to be perceived
Hmm.
successful.
Okay.
All those kind
Okay.
of things, let's say,
Great.
come to mind.
Yeah. Then the second question would be, okay, when those thoughts uh, comes to your head, how do you feel? What kind of emotions run through your body, through your head, through your heart, whatever?
Okay, and let's say when these problems in my case were the worst, I feel that I didn't feel anything.
Hmm.
What I would feel, I would maybe sometimes I would feel anxious, but that anxiety would be more like on a cognitive level and less so
Hmm.
on a bodily level. But
Hmm.
at some point, I realized that, okay, that anxiety is finding a different way. Or, of course, I'm already aware, but I'm trying to put myself in a stupid client position, let's say, who's totally unaware of what's going on, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so this, so sorry, so those problems would come through my body. I would feel maybe bad sensations in my
Mhm.
stomach, something like that, and they would be
Mhm.
bothering me. I go to doctors, they say, do something with your stress level because you're all right.
Yeah, yeah. So basically, we would if you already like you understand that you need to do something with your stress level, so we would look for a ways to reduce your stress.
Okay.
Different like what do you do? So and we would challenge those the way that you are living right now,
Mm,
and we would try to reason you like to live um less stressful life. It's
got
not
it.
like I'm telling what CBT therapist wouldn't say like you have to do this.
Yeah.
So maybe some, but like we are going there together. But actually, we are in cognitive behavioral therapy. We are trying to understand where mm, your mind gets illogic, like if
Illogical,
yeah,
irrational.
illogical,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, irrational, where if you say I have to work as much as possible can as I
I
possibly
have to do
can, and
everything, by the
yeah, I
way.
have to do everything, and
Yes.
I have to be the best,
Yes.
and we would yeah, okay, who you are competing against, and
Myself.
what, yeah, yourself. It's and we would take a look, is it rational, to push yourself so much, because like you have this background of stress, and you have
Okay, let's
aching
stop here.
body.
Let's say that I'm that client who starts saying, Julius, I'm listening to what you're saying, and I think that I feel that I make good decisions. I'm successful. I'm a successful counselor. I was able to change my profession twice. I had a successful recruitment business. So why should I change something? I'm leading a successful life. I'm very functional. So why do you say that I have to change something?
Well, you come and you bring your problem. So if you don't change something, you will run into those problems again. That's as simple as it is. But yeah, really, that's the thing that cognitive behavioral therapy, especially this classical one, it just concentrates on the problem,
Mm-hmm.
not the reasons that
Yeah.
are behind those problems, but the problem, and we are trying to solve it, and how we can try to solve it. We have to reason you back to your normal.
And okay, and let's say if I had to, let's say, imagine you as a therapist, what should I expect from you? So let's say when it comes to how much you are talking, how much you are listening, what type of maybe methods you are using when it comes to CBT, what type of content I should expect, let's say, as a newbie user of
Mm.
therapy services. What do you think?
Okay, so yeah, if you are going to cognitive behavioral therapy, you should expect a lot of homework, a
I
lot.
see.
And you should expect that you will have to have those mm, thought altering tables where you can write your let's say um unproductive thoughts, and you have to like level them back to more like logical or reason based thoughts. You also have to meter your feelings, like emotions. What do I feel right now, and what level is that? So basically it's a lot of technique. It's a lot of like you when you go this cognitive behavioral therapy way, you do a lot of work on your own.
Okay, so let's imagine that I'm doing that
I'm
work.
I'm I'm sorry, not saying that in other therapies you don't do that, but
Sure,
uh,
sure. Yeah, totally understand. So let's say that, okay, we are meeting together, sharing my thought processes. You are maybe challenging those thought processes. You're helping me see where's the problem, looking together for solutions, how to solve the problem, maybe lead a less stressful life. Let's say I become more psychologically literate. I, let's say, start to absorb my thoughts better, start to see the relationships between feelings and thoughts and sensations. What do you think? How long do we do this? What could be the commitment approximately?
it depends, but usually well, nowadays, cognitive behavioral therapy, it doesn't like uh, puts a lot of stress about therapy length, but usually it's about 10, 12, 15, maybe I don't know, 20 sessions.
So, and once per week, or how
Yeah,
often?
once per week.
Okay, okay. So let's say I went through this process with you, and I became more psychologically literate. Let's say the stress levels alleviated a bit, and after some time, I started to feel that okay, I'm feeling much more literate, but still those somatic issues are making me worried. I don't like them, and I feel that there is, like, let's say, an ability to not only understand things but to feel things.
Mhm.
So what do you think would be like a second option to try in those different therapies that maybe would help me more with feelings, more with sensations? What would you offer?
Let's say you go to Gestalt therapist.
Okay, Gestalt sounds like a German curse word. I have no idea what it is, and I don't want to go there, but maybe you can tell me. I'm just,
Yeah, yeah.
pretending.
Okay, I
Okay.
understand. So Gestalt is to translate it into English, it's like stuck.
Mm.
And mm, it was developed by one of the successors of Freud, Perls, and Fritz Perls,
Yeah.
Frederick Perls, and well, he tried to take a look at the whole person, not like just his mind, but
Okay.
the whole person with all the body, and what do you what is happening within this body, and usually, well, the same question, yeah, what's the problem,
Okay, so let's
but
sorry, just to stop you here, Julius.
mhm,
Let's say that you're my friend and you started talking about this history, and I already feel bored. And I just say, Julius, just tell me what I can expect from this. I know this Gestalt therapist.
mhm,
The person was recommended to me by friend.
yeah.
I'm not sure what I expect. How would you
Yeah,
help me orient? Yeah.
you would go to that Gestalt therapist,
Yeah.
and you would talk to the person,
Okay.
and
I
he
already
would,
talked to you.
yeah, but you would talk, about your problems, and
Did that as well.
he would ask you some questions, he would probe you, and
Okay.
he would look for a cues that shows that there's something, like avoidance of things, like you do not want to talk about like this, you do not want to go to into the
So
depth
can
of.
we do that, or that bit of that probing? So let's say I come to you, I describe my problems. Let's say I say that I had those sensations. So if we would do like a little bit of a test, what type of questions, what type of probing could I expect from a
Yeah,
Gestalt therapy?
okay, let's talk about this, in a deeper way, uh what you feeling, how your body feels, what kind
Hmm.
of minds go through, thoughts goes through your head, what kind of emotions, and you know uh especially for Gestalt therapists, they would look for cues not only in your language but also in your body. For example,
Hmm.
if you talk and like you start talking about something negative and you start to wiggle your like finger or arm,
Hmm.
he would ask, okay, so what what is going on with this, with your arm or your finger?
Okay.
What's if you would like wiggle it a bit more, what would happen? And
Hmm.
if
So
you, yeah, yeah,
okay.
you
Okay.
if you just throw your whole arm, the whole hand, in the air, and move your body, what would happen? What would go out from that? And that's the relation, but not only with mind but also with body, and
Yeah.
mm,
So it seems that the Gestalt therapist is helping me observe my sensations, my feelings, and maybe identify those relationships. So it seems that we are working with thoughts as well, but we're also working a lot with sensations, feelings in my body, maybe trying to repeat a certain pattern during the
yeah.
session. And would you recommend it, let's say, doing it online or rather face to face? Because I would feel weird doing it via camera.
Uh, you know, um, I know people who work online and they are quite adapt to it, and
Okay.
it's also, it is. I know that there are therapists who, for example, if you just stick your head in camera, they ask, okay, maybe you can move like a bit backwards, that so I see you, and then we can talk
Mm,
like this way. So yeah, that's how it works, and of course, there are relations between all the therapies. It's a lot of like questions, and in Gestalt also, you will get some questions, but it's all we already moving into the place where therapist is like more observer,
mm.
like not intruder.
But let's say, Julius, when I'm still now, when I was talking to that friend, when the person was referring to once, Gestalt therapist, he said that, oh, the person is very down to earth, very friendly. There's a lot of talk about the relationship. There's a lot of talk about how we feel together about each other. And I realized that, that sounds interesting. I never felt that this can be done in the therapy because with Julius, when I worked with him, we talked a lot more about my thoughts, about the content of my rationalities, maybe, but we didn't focus too much on the relationships and how we feel. It sounds weird for me as a man. So, how could you explain that focus on the relationship in Gestalt? Why do they do that?
Mm, why do they focus on a relationship?
Yeah, why is that
Well,
important?
it's a bit comes also from psychodynamic. So, but
Mm,
because our personalities, they are not float like in a bubble that is,
mm,
you know, somehow isolated from the world. So we are in, you know, we are interpersonal beings,
okay.
and we relate to things not only in our head but also within our human relationships. So
Mm,
that's why they do that, and they
mm,
focus on that. And also this, when we talk about our relationship, things pop up, and we can see where this, let's say, psychological energy flows and where it stocks.
but still, Julius, when I think about myself as that guinea pig, I still try to figure out, so how that talk about my sensations, okay, it sounds interesting maybe, how that talk about the relationship will help with my perfectionism and my psychosomatic issues.
Why? Well, it will,
But how?
because it's why it will help, because you when you talk, you hear back reflection
Mm,
from the person. So what, it's like, you cannot see yourself without the mirror or
mm,
without the water that reflects you back. So
mhm.
then you understand how do you appear to the other people. And
Essentially, the person is giving me feedback
of
about
course,
myself and how the person feels about myself, and I can expect honesty, maybe a lot of honesty from that
sure,
person.
sure.
Okay, interesting. Okay, we will later compare maybe those things. So let's say that, okay, I went through this as well. I went to a Gestalt therapist. I realized that, okay, I realized that it's important how I feel in the relationship. I realized how I feel. It's important how I feel in my body. It's important to observe my body, and it can be a very powerful tool to also understand myself, through the body analysis or relationship
Mhm.
analysis. But then I thought that I still had that assumption that I have friends that go to therapy for 3 4 years and they talk a lot about with parents and mother and father, and I think that maybe that's where the problem is. Maybe I'm not finding the root cause.
Okay.
So, what do you think? What I could do if, let's say, I want to understand where my problems come from? Let's say.
Okay, so you go to analytical therapy.
Okay, I like
Yeah,
analysis. What we
yeah.
will analyze there.
Hmm. You, your thoughts, your feelings, your fantasies, your dreams,
What fantasies?
what whatever you have in your head.
So, okay, just stop. So, I still don't understand. So, what are they like? They are talking about fantasies for 3 4 years. What can I
Fantasies.
expect from a dynamic analytic therapist?
Well, you can expect that you will talk a lot, and they will just hear you. Sometimes they will reflect something on you, but
Mm,
usually they have a lot of space for yourself, and sometimes
mm,
it feels uncomfortable,
mm.
and it leads to frustration, and you can then talk about this frustration that happens when you open up or you do not open up. Yeah, so you sit there or lay there and you
Lay?
talk.
What do you mean by lay?
Well, you lay on this therapist couch. If you are in
They
psychoanalysis, for
people
example,
still do that?
yeah, and you go to like 3 to 5 times a week.
I don't have money for that.
Well, some people do.
Okay, so doesn't sound like an option, but it sounds okay. So talking
Yeah,
about myself,
yeah,
yeah, my therapist told me that I'm a bit narcissistic. I like to talk about myself.
mm, yeah.
So
So
but some people say that it's bad that I'm a narcissistic person. So maybe maybe I shouldn't talk too much about myself. I don't know.
mm, yeah, okay, so you are free to do whatever you do, but if you would
Okay.
be in the analytical one of the analytical therapies, you would probably just be met by silence.
Sounds scary.
Yeah, it's
W- w-
strange, but later on you start, like to develop sense that okay, nothing happens. Like, yeah, I said something, nothing happened. uh okay, can I say something else? And you say something else and you open up and
I'm already feeling my Gestalt therapist taught me to feel what I feel in the conversation, and I'm feeling anxiety now when I think about
okay,
spending
great.
so much
Do you
time
want
in
to
such.
talk more about your anxiety?
Wow. I mean, that sounds like a very curious therapy, a therapy that takes everything what the person gives in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
Of course.
But still, what do you think? What would be the help here? So in the CBT, I think I became more psychologically literate, more self-aware when it comes to my thoughts. In the
Yeah, and
Gestalt
also and
therapy,
and also in CBT you would have like tools, instant tools, like
yeah,
okay, we will have this technique, and this technique, and you can use that
myself in
almost
my
instantly.
yeah,
Yeah, yourself, or it depends what kind of what kind of treatment are you getting.
got it.
And for example, if you would have some OCD, yeah, then you would build, some type of hierarchy to accomplish, to overcome your fears, and then
Okay, got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but
So
we already I went through this. I'm
mhm,
not. I had my CPT. I'm not interested in it anymore. I had my Gestalt. I became more self-aware of my feelings, of my sensations. I'm much more in my body, a bit more relaxed.
mm,
I went to a dynamic therapist. It felt weird, but I realized that I learned to tolerate discomfort, and
mhm,
actually, it helped me maybe become more okay with those feelings and realize that I can go through them, and that silence is okay. I don't like silence, but I realize that it can
yeah,
be okay. So I feel that it helped me a bit, but I didn't spend too much time in the dynamic thing. I realized that the passivity maybe of the therapist
mhm,
was too overwhelming to me, and maybe I'm not prepared for that. Okay. So let's say I'm looking for something more humane, maybe something more casual. Gestalt, I like Gestalt,
mhm,
but it's too much about feelings. I still want something about ideas, like in CBT, but
yeah.
also something humane. Maybe I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
existential
that's
questions. What could you?
humanistic existential type of
Oh,
therapy, where you just learn to be. You just not
okay,
they don't really focus on on trauma healing, like reliving thing, and then resolving everything in your head, but like, okay, you are now here. You maybe feel some existential dread, and that's also okay. And how are you operating in this uh, time that is right now, and this space that is right here? How do you feel? How do you feel inside yourself, and how do you operate with the world that is around you?
okay. So just let's stop here because I am a bit confused. So CBT, focus on thoughts, got it. I mean, of course, we are bastardizing, but just for the play of it.
Hmm.
CBT, focus on thoughts, homework, action, uh, Gestalt, maybe action at the present, some bodily scanning is great, psychodynamic therapy, maybe more long term focus, maybe on the past, maybe on the silence, also great. Now, humanistic existential sounds a bit abstract. So, let's say you are an existential therapist. I come to you, I describe my situation. I'm a perfectionist, burnout, psychosomatic. What would you ask me? What would you say to me? What do you think?
Mhm. Yeah, but I would ask you the same question. How do you feel about that? Do you want to
Hmm.
talk about what is happening right now? What do you feel? It's I would also sometimes refer to myself. That, okay, I have such ideas and things by myself.
Hmm.
It's very like it's humane to have those things. It's okay to
Hmm.
have them. Or it's yeah. Sometimes it's weird that we have some different thoughts. Like in this same situation.
So we would like have a discussion in a way.
Yeah, yeah. We would like. It's. I think that. I myself went to at some part of my life. I went to humanistic therapy, and it was like really revealing because it was
Hmm.
very friendly. You know,
Hmm.
it's I felt like I am just sitting with a good friend, and we are just talking. Well, more. mm, I was talking more, of course, but there's this feedback like okay.
But still, Julius, when I think about it, so I can't do that with my friends. I have friends, I'm not lonely. So, what can the therapist offer me except for what we described in the beginning? But in
Mm-hmm.
addition to those things that we already know, that reflective thing, that listening thing, basically what a psychologist can do or a counselor can do, what is like the added value of a humanistic existential therapy?
Added value. Well, of course, the first thing is it's therapy. You go there, you have an agreement with someone. You will show up. You will have the process in your
But
head. Still,
specifically about existential therapy, I still don't wrap my head around. So, what's like the difference of it when we compare it to others?
hmm, I don't know. It's maybe that's my personal experience that
Mm.
mixes in. But well, you know, why would that have a value? Well, you just, you would learn to be yourself. That's the value.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, it's, you know,
Okay.
and especially, when you go to therapist, you go there for a reason. You just don't talk with your friends.
Hmm.
Or you can try, of course, and maybe
Hmm.
if you have such a great friends that are like therapists, and that would be very awkward, so that would be that would that would be some kind of like I don't know therapy, but it's not. And it's
Okay.
also also I think that what helps it's um this therapeutical relationship that you build upon you know this still it's not like you are not friends really.
Yeah.
You still pay your therapist.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's
but still about that existential part, you know, let's say that I'm still in that guinea pig mode.
mhm,
I when I talked to a friend who went for existential therapy, the person said that they discuss a lot, and there's like a discussion about life, discussion about values, discussion about loneliness, sometimes even death. It seems like a philosophical discussion. How would you explain why he said that there's a lot of philosophical discussions? It doesn't sound like therapy. Sounds like some intellectually interesting conversation, so to speak.
yeah, it's not
How?
only about not it's not only about philosophical ideas or questions. It's
Okay.
also how you feel about them.
Yes.
It's well the whole thing. Well, the whole therapeutic thing is it's not like isolated from feelings, and
Yeah.
that's um mm, there are quite a number of clients who are psychologically maybe even more educated than me. They read
Mm.
all the books, they went all seminars, they just like they had is exploding how much I things and thoughts they know about psychology. And the single thing that is missing is feelings.
Mm.
And if you minus that from the person, it's just more like machine, not the person.
Okay, so let's say that I went for existential humanistic therapy, and basically I realized that, okay, so I worked on my thoughts, I worked on my feelings, I worked on my childhood, and what existential therapy gave me is basically tying all things together and just seeing how it all fits in my life and how I feel all about these things. And I realized that, okay, now I'm more, let's say, coherent as a person in this
Hmm.
after this therapy. And now I realize that, okay, so let's say I became less perfectionistic, I became more self-forgiving, I allow for more space, for silence, for rest. I'm more slower in my life, but I'm still doing the same things. I'm still achieving things, and I'm starting to think, okay, I feel that I'm already healthy. I feel that I'm pretty much okay. And I want to talk more about the future. I want less about the past, less about the present. I want to achieve goals, but still using this knowledge that I gathered
Okay, you
through
wanna go?
therapy.
You
Where
you
should
wanna
I go?
go? What? Okay, you go to coaching. You just
What's that?
yeah, you if you wanna talk about your future plans, things how to achieve and do things, you go coaching.
Let's say you're a coach. I describe my background. I say that I need more ideas about my vision. I want to set up balanced goals. I want to achieve optimal performance. What could you offer to me as a coach?
Yeah, I would ask you different kind of questions, and
For
like
example.
no, yeah, okay. What's the situation is right now? Please describe what are the good things, what are the
Mm,
bad things, what is happening in your life, or a specific field, for example.
mm-hmm,
And then okay, what are the things that you are willing to achieve? Okay,
mm,
and then we would look, okay, are those, mm, let's say, goals of yours, are they really true goals, or you are just
mm.
willing to get them? And then we would go through different questioning techniques, and then different reflectivity things. And
Okay, and for me as a guinea pig, actually, after all those therapies, to be honest, and for me as a guinea pig, but also as a Povilas, no one ever asked me, no ever therapist, what are my goals for some reason. So I like what you're saying.
yeah,
I like
well,
to talk about my
yeah,
goals.
and the other thing different from well, which separates coaching from psychotherapy, it's more like we are concentrating on positivity, on things that you can achieve, can do, not
Mm.
some like if we are concentrating on something that holds you back, so how can we overcome it? Do you know maybe people who overcame it, and what did they do? What can
Mm.
you implement? It's like just building something, not like tearing apart some
Yeah.
old building and trying to fix things, but like building new one.
Mm. Okay. Okay. And let's say I'm going through that coaching thing, and at some point, when you ask me whether my goals are coherent, I realize, fuck, all my life where I'm living, I was living my parents' aspirations. And I'm crumbling down. I'm crumbling. I feel that something, I mean, I don't feel good. I don't feel good because I realize that all my life, my goals were incoherent.
Okay.
I was not living according to my authentic values, and I feel I'm crying. I feel trauma is reaching me from somewhere, and I feel that I start googling and I realize, damn it, I might have PTSD.
Mhm.
I might have PTSD. And then coach says, okay, yeah, I have to refer you to a therapist. And there's like a thing called MDR therapy.
EMDR,
The
yeah.
EMDR, yes, sorry, EMDR. And then there's also hypnotherapy. When I hear hypnotherapy, I realize, oh my God, no hypnosis, please. And then the person says, also there are other therapies, but that might help you. Please go to that person. So what is that?
Oh, that are different kind of techniques, and then like niche techniques, and then it's well, I have this ambivalent feeling about this,
Okay.
about this field, but there are people mm, who can get help, and this help will be valuable to them, and there are people who are not. And it's the same as with different kind of therapies, like some people adore CBT,
Yeah,
cognitive
I get
behavioral.
this.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
so
already
it's
aware, but what should I
yeah, but
expect? What should I expect?
okay. You should expect that someone will talk to you until you sleep, and not
In
not
which
like
one?
sleep it, yeah,
EMDR or hypnotherapy?
hypnotherapy, yeah.
Hypnotherapy.
Yeah, hypnotherapy, and in EMDR you will be like asked to move your eyes really rapidly, and they will tap you, and then that they so yeah,
That
that's
sounds obnoxious for me
well,
as a
well,
guinea pig.
yeah, it's sort of mm, mm, it can be like it you can see it as a some voodoo tricks,
Hmm.
but they have their meaning. It's the same as like why would you talk about your dreams? It's nonsense. Well,
Mm.
yeah, okay, sometimes it's nonsense, but sometimes it can help you. And
Okay.
the same is with many other things, like I don't know, some people, why would I go to yoga, just move weirdly, and why would I do
Got it,
that?
got it. So it seems that there's like a mechanism. It seems that there's like a mechanism that for some people it works wonders, for others don't. But still, I read that there's a lot of good research that it is helping with traumatic experience and it gives very fast results. So let's say that I already went through that, and let's say that it reduced my post-traumatic stress, and now I'm feeling as myself. Okay. And let's say that in the last minute, in the last minutes of our conversations, let's say that we already discussed everything, and I'm thinking about, let's say, my next year.
Okay.
So, Julius, in our last minutes, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the coming holidays. You talked a lot about how people should feel, or maybe what they should do when New Year's comes, and the stress that they go through. I read a lot of articles
Mm.
where you speak about that. And just very briefly, let's say, because it's a relevant topic, I already went through all those therapies, let's say, and I want to, let's say, come up with some New Year's resolutions. Let's say, come up with some New Year's resolutions. I want to lead a different life, let's say, next year. And I was going through different articles, and I read what you wrote, let's say, about that. Okay. And I just want to read that, and maybe you can comment. So I read Julius's writing. I do not believe in New Year's resolutions, goal setting for the next year, and future visualizations and actualizations. They don't work for me. And as far as I understand my clients, they don't work for them either. What does seem to work is self reflection. That is, questions that I can ask myself, and by answering them openly, understand what is going on with me, others, and the world around me. Then I can decide to take or not take actions. And when I read this as Pavlos, I realized, yeah, we're thinking on the same page here. I also don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but for some people, they still write them, and
Mm.
I'm sure that some of the people who are listening to this, they will be doing the same as well.
Yeah.
So for the ending, let's say, what would you wish our listeners for the coming years? If, let's say, you are not suggesting New Year's resolutions, maybe also some reflections, but still, how would you? What would be your advice?
Mm, just my advice is just get New Year's resolution every day. Like
Okay.
have I don't know thing on internet or just Word file or just a book, and you just write what's on your heart, write what you want to achieve, and um, let yourself easily live with the change that goes through those pages, because
Mm,
it will develop into your life, but somehow, and some things that you will write,
mm,
they will they will happen, and some things maybe won't, and that's okay, that's life, that's how things happen. And then if
mhm,
you really want to achieve something, and you are putting that on this notebook again and again and
mhm,
again, you will start to realize how to come to this, and maybe
mm.
during that road you will understand, okay, I don't need this, I've already achieved what I want. So just be easy on yourself, be just be yourself, be
Awesome.
human being, not human doing.
Okay. Human being, not human doing. And also not New Year's resolutions, New Day resolutions
New
every
day, yeah,
day.
because you have every day new day. It's, yeah, you wake up, okay, it's new day. Let's make
Yeah.
some resolutions.
Amazing. Amazing. Thanks for this, Yulo. So to finish off, maybe we had nice 2 hours together. So I would also like to provide space for you, maybe also reflect on this. So what are you taking from this conversation? What was like the most interesting thing to you that you're taking? How would you
Okay. Okay.
finish our conversation?
It was interesting to talk about my past experience, because
Mm,
like I just had to put them somehow in one
yeah.
place, and I wasn't doing that for quite a while,
Mm,
and it seems like I've lived interesting life,
mm-hmm.
and today, as I am 50 already, so I'm yeah, quite an amazing journey I had.
Totally.
uh, and also, I understood that, well, I've quite, I've lost a lot of theoretical background
Ah,
from what I've learned. And when I've tried to put myself into those different positions of different psychotherapists, always, in my head, I've always, popped up my own therapeutical
yeah.
approach, which is quite, sometimes I wasn't feeling like that,
Oh, yours.
yeah. So yeah, it was really, really nice talking to you, and really felt great, because
Yeah.
we do look at things the very similar way.
Amazing, Julius. Yeah, I guess that's an important note that sometimes our ideas, our philosophies can get into our way, and how it's important to always be open to other ideas and
Yeah.
appreciate them. So I really learned a lot from this. I liked our psychodrama and at the second part. So it was interesting to see the therapies from a client perspective. I really appreciate that you allowed this to happen. So,
Okay.
okay. Okay,
Thank you.
Julius.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, Julius.
Okay.